Hey folks, and welcome back to West Yorkshire Retro Gamer. It's transfer time. Leeds have brought in their 5th new player of the season in the shape of Sean Longstaff. He is a central midfielder, 27-year-old, who has played all of his professional career at Newcastle United, with a couple of loan spells in there as well. Over 171 appearances in the Premier League, vastly experienced, almost 6 foot tall, again fits that kind of mould, age range and height that Leeds are targeting. For me it's the experience. You know, all that experience he's gained over the years, and bar his very first season in the Premier League, has played over 20 games out of 38. He's played over half the games every single season. So there's a lot of consistency there. So let's delve a little deeper into the stats and see what we're getting with Sean Longstaff. The transfer is believed to be around £12 million, with another £3 million in add-ons. For an experienced 27-year-old, I don't think that's a bad deal, really. Not in today's market. In terms of the season upon season that he had in the Premier League, he made just 9 appearances back in the 18-19 season, but then 19-20 was 23, 20-21, 22, 21-22, 24, 22-23, 33, one of his best seasons in terms of appearances, and then probably his best ever season, 2023 to 2024, got 6 goals in 35 games, which is not a bad return for a midfielder. And then last season bagged himself 25 games again, but last season was probably seen as the point of where some of the players at Newcastle were obviously a little bit more ahead of Longstaff in the pecking order. You look at players like Joe Linton and Guimaraes, just to give 2 examples. He would have had to have gotten past that pair of Brazilians. I think they're both Brazilian, aren't they? Which would have been quite difficult. So, in order to get first team games and in order to maintain that very consistent record, he has signed for Leeds United. I do find this to be a very solid signing. He's not going to be like a Rafinha, doing all the tricks and being really pacey or anything like that. He's going to be a good passer of the ball. He's going to have the physicality. He's going to have the know-how. This really is the big box ticked for me. The know-how of how to play in the Premier League and how to deal with the opposition, how to break up play, how to stop the opposition from playing, and helping his own team to win the midfield battle. That, to me, I believe is what Longstaff is going to bring to Leeds. You don't play over 170 games in the Premier League and not be a good player. And as I say, that he's improved his goal output. Not last season, but the season before. And maybe he can chip in with some goals, for Leeds. I don't think he's been signed for his goal scoring prowess, quite frankly. But again, if you look at those 2 loan spells that he had, Kilmarnock in the Scottish Prem, 3 goals in 16 games, and then you look at the loan that he had at Blackpool in 17-18, 8 goals in 42 games. So he is capable. He's capable of getting some goals. It just depends on the system and what the manager wants of him. Bearing in mind all the seasons he's played in the Premier League with Newcastle, he'll have played under a lot of managers. So he'll have picked up different things from each of these managers over the years, and he can bring a lot of experience to Leeds. Now, when you consider that we're looking at signing 6'4" Anton Stark from Hoffenheim, you know that's your big unit, your big DCM, if you like. Longstaff's not going to be like that. I think Longstaff is going to be a midfield general. I think he's going to be one of those that kind of bosses the middle of the park. He's never going to go too defensive. He's never going to go too offensive. You know, that'll be left to other players. Stack will be assigned to do more of the defensive work, like an anchorman to sit in front of the back four, and then whoever the other midfielder is, or if we get a 10, they'll be doing more of the attacking stuff. I mean, Longstaff, I think, does come across as an 8, so very much that central role, if you like. And again, his style of play will just bring something a bit different to the squad. He's also homegrown. He even played a game for Leeds United youth team when he was about 12, apparently. So he knows the club, and he's played against Leeds United before now. So he knows what it's about. Being English, he'll know the project, he'll know the history of Leeds. And I don't think you can go very wrong with this kind of transfer. When you're a new team coming up into the Premier League, you need players with that Premier League know-how. And I think this is what Sean's going to bring to the table. You can't argue with all of this. If Newcastle didn't rate him, then they wouldn't have wanted anywhere near 12 to 15 million quid. They'd have sold him for somewhere between 5 and 10. You know, they were holding out for the best price they could get. Knowing that they're losing for their standard, they're losing a good squad player. For Leeds, he's going to be more than a squad player. He's coming in to be in that first 11. And I think it's a good addition. You know, with all the signings we've made so far, apart from Nemecha, who has played in England at youth level, you know, the likes of Gudmundsson and Bornau and Biol, you know, they have not played in England before. So players like Sean Longstaff are the ideal kind of signing to complement these signings that are coming from abroad. Good age, you know, again another player that's good, that hopefully his best years are ahead of him, and not behind him now. You know, he's coming at a good time. And as I say, he played very well in the. I mean, you know, it is only a friendly, but he didn't look out of place when he was wearing that lovely new blue away kit, which every time I see that kit, I'm liking it more and more. Quite frankly, I think Leeds have absolutely nailed it with that kit. So it'd be interesting to see what the third kit's like. I was kind of hoping that the third kit would be almost a reverse of that, and it would be yellow with blue and white trim. You know, but I doubt it. I think I've heard rumours it's going to be a black kit, but so yeah, another good addition, and more to come by the sounds of things. Stack's deal is now reported to be well underway, due to be doing a medical today, I believe, with a fee agreed of around 20 million euros, so about 18 million quid, and there'll be some add-ons in there as well, I'm sure, probably 2 to 4 million quid's worth of add-ons will be in there to be paid over time on appearance and performance based, I would think. So with all of this now, the potential starting lineup for Leeds United is really starting to shape up now, and in the friendly against Man U, we played without a 10. So it was more of a midfield 3. with then your 2 wingers and your 1 striker up front. We still have one of the midfielders playing as like an 8/10 occasionally, that would have the license to bomb forward whilst the other 2 stay back. But definitely Farke showing a little bit of flexibility, which he's going to need. He's going to need that, and it kind of makes you wonder as to whether Leeds will go ahead with the 4-2-3-1 that we use in the Championship, or if he looks at more of a 4-3-2-1 almost. I don't mind it. I felt for a large spell of that match we were the better team. So I'm looking forward to seeing what transpires. We're still due some more players coming through. I think 5 ain't enough. 5 ain't enough. Not a chance. I think we need another 5, maybe 6, because it's about squad quality. And this is what Longstaff brings to the table. He just brings that quality experience to the squad. He can pass on all of the experience he's had to all of the players that have not experienced the Premier League before. I think he'll be vocal. I think he'll be like another vice captain. I think that his experience will show. It'll come across really well to the other players. Seems a likeable lad as well, based on what I've seen in the training videos so far. Seems a good lad, and let's see if we get him at his very best. And if he can chip in with the GNA, brilliant. But I think we've signed a midfield general here, bit of a leader of Premier League standard. So yeah, good stuff. Excellent. So, signing number 5, Sean Longstaff from Newcastle United for 12 to 15 million pounds. Let's see how he does. Good Premier League experience here, folks. As I say, he's not going to have the kind of reviews of a player like Rafinha, who had all the skills and the flair. Even Pablo Hernandez, another one of a similar mould. All the tricks of the trade. Sean's going to have I think he's a good old style English player. Just one that's just going to come with that know-how to deal with playing against, because he's played. Think of all the flary foreign players that he'll have played against in his time at Newcastle, and a couple of them, a couple of his Newcastle teammates when he had St. Maximin there. He was the flair guy, wasn't he? So I think Longstaff brings a lot to Leeds United here in terms of that experience. But we will see. Hopefully it works out well. So, in the meantime, folks, as soon as we sign any more players, I'll do a review on them as well. But in the meantime, signing number 5, Sean Longstaff. Thank you for watching. Do please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Massively helps. In the meantime, catch you in the next one. Bye for now.